Welcome to This Week in Location-Based Marketing, episode number 15. I'm Rob Woodbridge from Untitled.tv, one of your hosts. And with me on the other side
is Asif Khan from the Location-Based Marketing Association.
Found at thelbma.com or at thelbma on Twitter. Asif, lots of stuff going on, so let's just dive right into it. This is one of those, this is obviously the week of South by Southwest. So we anticipate that when we meet 1 week from today, there are going to be an incredible amount of announcements, actually incredible number of applications in use in South by Southwest, and some feedback, some real feedback from people using some of the stuff that's launched. And we're going to talk about that.
I think we've heard lots of overtures already on that front, and I think there isn't a location-based platform company that's not down there testing, announcing, hosting a party, launching some new feature. Whatever it is, I mean, there's a ton going on, and we know, for example, Google is there testing their NFC sticker stuff. The second city, after the Portland experiment, so that's going on. That'll be exciting. So they've been all over town, plastering stickers all over, restaurant windows and such, and everybody else is down there. I know Gowalas is hoping to kind of reemerge on their home front, and obviously Foursquare and Where and everybody else is there. So,
well, I think that this is going to be a the penultimate location-based marketing South by Southwest. I think this is what we've been waiting for, and I can't wait to see the results. But before we get there, we've got certainly a packed show today. Leading off, our good friends Seth Prebatch, who is the chief ninja at Scavenger. Signing up another deal with a big brand, Dunkin' Donuts. Scavenger is everywhere, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's gotten rid of the shuriken stars and switched them over to donut holes yet, but they've partnered with Dunkin' Donuts, and this is not a brand new thing. It's been going on all winter, from what I understand, and so they've extended it now with a new promotion just this week. So over the winter, they've been working. The primary kind of relationship is they've kind of tied Dunkin' Donuts to the Boston-based or the New England sports teams, so the Celtics and the Bruins and such. And
Red Sox.
And
boo Red Sox, boo.
Yeah, boo Red Sox. But they have this history. Scavenger does, of working with New England Patriots and other New England sports teams. I guess Seth likes his sports as much as his ninjas, and. Anyways, so they've been tying check-ins at Dunkin' Donuts to rewards for tickets and things at various games for various New England-based teams. And so the latest thing is they've taken that a step further than just check-ins to win, and kind of come up with two promotions that they call. One is called Get a Grip, which is snap a photo and show us how you hold your iced coffee, apparently, when it's chilly outside. This is the caption they've come up with, and tell us what the temperature is outside. So there's this whole thing about kind of capturing the moment of you and your iced coffee, and sending that photo in based on what location you're at, and that qualifies you to win certain prizes. And then the second one is this thing called Drop Your Gloves, which obviously is a hockey connotation to it, where you send in a pep talk, they call it, to pump up the players for the next game. This is for the Bruins players. And so, interesting things. What's a little bit different about them is that they happen while you're in the actual Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. So it's more than just a check-in that I'm there and I'm out. These are things intended to happen while you're there, create a little bit of dwell time inside of a Dunkin' Donuts. Now, what's most interesting to me about that, because as you know, I come from this Wi-Fi background and trying to sell Wi-Fi to quick-serve restaurant chains. One of the things that they always push back on is we don't want the people sticking around too long in the donut store, because we only have so many seats and we want to turn over those seats as fast as possible so that we can sell more stuff. So is this create the same kind of problem? I don't know. In a quick serve restaurant chain, it's unique. In a retail environment, absolutely, you want people to stay there as long as possible and sell as much as you can. But in a quick serve, I don't know. So we'll see if it works. What has worked so far is they seem to be generating a fair bit of Twitter and Facebook buzz about it, and trying, and tying, those channels together, the social media plus the location piece.
Yeah, do you think it's going to be a challenge to not to come up with these unique things that Scavenger's doing right now, which is unique games inside of locations like Dunkin' Donuts. But do you wonder if if that kind of newness or shininess will wear off? If every month or every 2 months they have to come up with these kind of new initiatives, or is this just going to be a perpetual thing that continues for the rest of the season, and then next year they launch a new one with a similar type of feel?
Well, I guess one of the things the questions I have more than answers at this point is I want to understand even with these two little initiatives, this drop the gloves thing and the get a grip. Where are these coming from? Is this, coming out of Scavengers, the creative guys hanging around in Scavengers saying, hey, look, we need to create some contest type ideas and let's make this happen, and they go and pitch it to Dunkin' Donuts? Or is this now Scavenger is kind of mature enough in the mind of the Boston sports / Dunkin' Donuts world that the agencies are actually picking up on it and saying, we'll create the creative and kind of flesh out the ideas. I don't know.
Like, is it just kind of like another checkbox now, especially for Boston-based, as you said, marketing or advertising companies that, okay, we'll just do a Scavenger play as well because you're Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. They recently hit 1 million users, Scavenger, I think in the last 10 days or so. And from what I've been reading, they're growing at kind of 5,000 users a day, which is pretty much the same as they were growing in October, 5,000 users a day. It's been a pretty consistent, growth pattern. So is that's good. They're not dropping off, but they haven't had that accelerant, like Facebook had, or like not Facebook, but Foursquare had. That kind of propelled it into a leadership position. So I think that these things, if they are getting this push or getting pulled from the marketing guys outside of Dunkin' Donuts, their agencies, I think that's a good thing that these guys can actually facilitate.
I'm hoping it is that way. I think that's, if we want to get real dollars into this world and start to drive real usage, you got to tie it to the social media channels, which they're doing with this, which is good. And B, the agencies have to pick up on it and start to drive the creative ideas and kind of make it more mainstream in that sense.
That's true. So here's hoping. But, again, another announcement, another week goes by and we don't have to skip a Scavenger announcement because there's always an announcement every week. Scavenger, these guys are out there doing the things.
They're doing something.
Yep, and God love them. So we'll promote them because they're pushing this industry, and I think they're pushing people to really take this seriously, take this industry seriously. So good on Seth and his team, and good on the Boston Bruins, Dunkin' Donuts, and the Boston Celtics for participating in this.
Come on, Tim Hortons.
Exactly. I don't think there are any down there, but bring it all up here. Seth, we have this thing called Tim Hortons up here. It's worth an effort as well.
It's pretty big, Seth.
And we love hockey. Okay.
We do.
So, on from one, which is a check-in location based, it's an active, into somewhat of a passive story here, but an active passive story. How's that for lead in? Boy, it's just getting better and better and better. And let's talk about the Placecast, or the Geofence Hero Placecast, and tying up with combining and partnering with AT&T. This isn't the first time they've done something this big, but AT&T and Placecast for shopping alerts. This is good for North America.
It's good, and we've talked about Placecast a couple times in the last few episodes, and I think that the biggest part of this story is that Placecast, a North American company, has had a lot of early success in Europe. We talked about what they're doing, with O2 and Orange and Starbucks and Marks and Spencer and all of that.
Yep.
And finally, we have a deal in the U.S. With AT&T, and this is big, and they've got some big partners, some big retailers on board for the initial push out. So congrats to Alistair and Blair and the team over there, and these guys are doing yeoman's work and making things happen.
And by big brands, you're talking about like HP and Kmart and JetBlue. These are big brands that they're rolling out shop alerts to, and I think that this is something. I mean, let's talk just a quick overview for those people who may not have listened to that episode where we announced the O2 stuff and Marks and Spencer, and I think they get a free smoothie with. It wasn't that, it was the free smoothie deal with Marks and Spencer. Right. These guys geofence and send out alerts, but this is a unique thing because ultimately this is, if you're an AT&T customer and you sign up for it, you don't have to be like a Kmart lover. You just sign up for the service, and if you're near Kmart and there's a deal, you get notified, don't you?
Yeah. So the simple example here, again, for people who haven't been following us, is what they're doing here that's different than, say the Foursquare or Goala type check-in platforms is they use geofencing. You opt in through your carrier into a program here. Geofencing being that you're automatically push deals once you've opted in inside of a kind of a virtual boundary. Yeah. So as you approach a Kmart, if Kmart's one of their partners in this, then you'll get pushed a deal on your phone, and these deals are pushed via text, via SMS. Yeah. So it's not, you don't need an app necessarily or anything like that. It's strictly using the carrier services and triangulating your location based on cell towers and where they are. So totally different than, the check-ins of Foursquare and Goala. Much simpler in some respects, much broader in many respects because it's not limited to smartphones. It works on feature phones as well. Yeah. So it's got a lot wider audience, and especially with AT&T. AT&T has 75 million subscribers. Yeah. That's a pretty big market.
It's big, and my only hope, and I think that all AT&T subscribers are thinking the exact same thing, is that don't put any more pressure on the network. And the cities that they've announced this in are New York, LA, Chicago, San Francisco. So these are all the big. I mean, you can't avoid it, but these are all the big cities that.
Yeah, so it's only those four for now: New York, San Fran, Chicago, LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just where all the congestion is on the AT&T network. No problem.
Yeah. The one other point I want to make about this, which I think is really interesting, is when you have a big carrier like AT&T on board with this. AT&T is also one of the largest players in the Yellow Pages local listing space. They own the book, okay? And so what that gives them the ability to do, which I think is different than a lot of other people who might be considering this, is they already have the local listing sales team. Yep. In place, that's going out and selling all those local ads. So going in and extending this from, JetBlues and Kmart's and so on down to smaller businesses, in theory, now you have the sales and marketing machine of that AT&T Yellow Pages arm married up with Placecast. My only thought is, what does that mean to Groupon?
Well, first thing that came to my mind is that it's immediate, and our next story even touches on that as well, which is a immediate reward instead of having to fill out buy it and then anticipate that wait for 100 people to buy. This is
I think this spells disaster for Groupon, and I'm sitting here going, guys, you're $6 billion. It's getting smaller and smaller.
Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. If they offer 2, take it.
Anyways,
yeah, Groupon. I mean, Groupon's in a lot of trouble because the New York Times is launching. I think the New York Times is launching their own couponing application. I think Bing is doing it. I mean, it's not defensible, right? Especially when you got a big sales group like AT&T owning Yellow Pages. That's a big plus. It surprises me that it's taken so long, and it also surprises. I mean, this isn't for anybody who's listening to this in Europe and Asia. This is not new. This is something that's been going on in Europe and Asia for many years. And you look at North America thinking, oh my God, you guys are in the dark ages of this stuff, and we are. But when it comes to making sure that somebody's got to start it, and good on AT&T and good on Placecast. Love this service. Can't wait to see what they do on a local level. But I think so. Just to recap, it's in the 4 cities: New York, LA, Chicago, and San Fran. And I think the partners are only right now, I think they're only JetBlue, Kmart, Kohl's, HP, maybe a few more. Right. But those are the big brands. So
Yeah, and one interesting point on the HP thing is it's HP as a product company, so
Yeah.
it's anywhere HP product is sold. So if you
Or
think
Best
about that,
Buy, or oh yeah,
if you walk by a Best Buy and there's HP stuff in there, and you get pushed a deal as you get close to that Best Buy,
yep,
what does that mean for Shopkick, who
yeah.
has a relationship with Best Buy? I don't know, right?
This,
I mean,
this
now
is getting interesting.
it's getting crazy, right? So anyhow,
So again,
it's all good.
But it's getting down to the to tagging the brand as opposed to the store. Ultimately,
Yes.
in some instances,
Ultimately, yeah.
like, you could.
So,
just
anyways, good on Placecast.
So this dovetails really well into the next story, which is about Loopt. And if AT&T,
Who? Oh.
What's that? Sorry,
I said who? No, Looped.
Looped. Yeah, Looped.
Looped.
It dovetails really well because if Placecast is about local deals, and if you're in proximity, this deal with Looped, and what Loop's doing is about bringing people, like it's almost like flash mobs, drawing people to a location, especially what they're doing in South by Southwest. So let's explain this, because I think this is very cool. What Looped is doing here in South by Southwest is very cool, and I'm very excited about to see how this turns out.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's that different actually, but it is neat. So Looped, been around for a while. Good solid subscriber base. I don't know how quickly they've been growing, but because we don't hear too much from them very often. But anyhow, so they've always had something called friend alerts inside of their platform, which was kind of unique. So basically, the way it works is it notifies you when friends are close by to where you are, based on location.
Yep.
So that's what a friend alert is, which is kind of neat. So that you can, kind of hook up with your friends, and that's cool. And so what they've announced now is this thing called reward alerts,
Yes.
which is works on the same premise. As you're kind of wandering around and moving around, if there's a deal that's close by, similar to the Placecast discussion we just had, it'll tell you about a deal. And hopefully, people congregate, based on the discovery of that deal, and then go and get it. So I think it's interesting, the combination of friend alert and reward alert, and creating that idea of flash mobs as you just described them. But I don't think it's all that different from, say, something like Facebook deals.
Yeah.
In some sense, because Facebook deals does work the same way. It is about discovering the deal as you're kind of wandering about.
From what I gather, what they're doing with South by Southwest is that they're saying, basically, they've got this kind of what they've termed as a rewards wagon, which is full of, like, I have a mental picture of a big cowboy wagon full of $45,000 worth of
but that's purely a promotional gimmick thing, right? That's not how the system actually is going to work in the real world, in the wild. But right? There's no rewards wagons hanging around, downtown Toronto or New York City.
They follow me around.
Right. So,
but
yes. So
this is pretty cool, and that's what I was talking about. Is the South by Southwest gig where basically it's going to tell you, it's going to send you messages about where to go, and then once you go there on a first come first served basis, you can claim rewards, and the rewards are pretty big. And this is what, if, for example, you wanted to drive traffic to a particular location or a particular venue, this is one of those things that instead of just happening by, they're going to be a little bit more proactive about saying, okay, go here now to get this a reward. And
yes.
What's missing in a lot of these location services is the fact that I'm not near a location. Notify me about something that's close, that I'd be interested in somewhere in a city. And if I get there, I get some rewards. So it drives traffic, foot traffic.
Yeah. So here's what I do think is interesting about that. Take the reward wagon kind of gimmick from South by Southwest, and let's play that forward now into kind of real world and how that could be applied. So I think the lesson that we can take out of that is understanding, how do we apply location-based delivery of deals or rewards that are event-specific.
Yes.
Okay, so as marketers, as sponsor people, media buyers, and so on and so forth, there is a lot of the marketing budget that's allocated towards event sponsorship. Okay, there's a music festival on, there's a community fair, there's a something, and the local radio station is there, promoting it, and they're like, come on down to the local, the local Ithaca, New York, community fair, whatever it is.
Yep.
Right now, and we're giving away free watermelons or whatever it is, right? I don't know, but that's usually the kind of thing that's done, with that local radio announcer, right? And that's how you drive that traffic typically.
Yep.
And I think that's the application that you can have with this reward alert system that Loop's built. It's tying in the event piece, and so the interesting thing about that is you think about the the parameters that we now have as marketers. We potentially we know the who, we know the what, we know so we have the social graph, the interest graph, we have the place graph in terms of location. But the one that's been missing, the one thing that's still been missing, is the time element, right? And so I think that's an interesting one now that we can weave in here with something like this.
Well,
right?
Absolutely, and I think that this is one of those things that when you start to think about expiring inventory.
Yes.
And really, this is what I love about something like this is that if for example, you just think about walking. Everybody I know has been to Times Square, and if you haven't, go. Just stop listening and go to Times Square to appreciate this. And everybody is trying to figure out where they should go or what they should do or what show they should see or where there's a ticket available and deals like that. And we've all seen those tickets lineups for the Broadway shows. They start at 8 in the morning and they wind around kind of right in the middle of Times Square. And I think about expiring inventory and tying it up with what Loopt is doing and the ability to push deals or push incentive. Let me know when there's a seat that's open up for whatever show it is that you want to go see.
Yes. And there is, by the way, totally agree with you. And there is a New York-based company called Lemon.
Oh, I know.
LEM, like just lemon, as in the fruit, lemon. And
I've had a lot of cars like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got a location-based platform that works primarily off of SMS, actually, similar to PlaceCast in some sense, and it's targeted at excess inventory of sports tickets. So you're driving by Madison Square Gardens, you get pinged saying, "Hey, come on in, watch the Rangers tonight. We still got 500 tickets left," or whatever it is, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's actually run by a bunch of guys who are ex-NFL marketing executives. So
I mean, they understand. They understand the fact that expiring inventory is a deadly thing. Because the ticket has zero value. Midway through the game, that movie ticket has zero value when the movie starts, and that show has zero. The open seat in that show has zero value. So that's what really excited me about this is that what we've seen is a lot of people saying check in to receive rewards. What we haven't really seen is like I'm available for rewards. Let me know what is available to me, where I can go, what I can do, and push it out. So maybe Lemon is a good example, but I just like what these guys are doing with Loopt, and we're going to see if they can give away the $45,000 in rewards at South by Southwest. We'll see what the reaction is at. It's very noisy down there, and maybe it all depends on the kind of rewards that they're going to give away. So I'm eager to see what happens. So that's what got me excited. I know you completely you burst my bubble right after that, but it's okay. I'm easily excited, right? So
hey, there you go.
Wow. Okay. So I'm not even going to mention the fact that I'm so excited. No. So on this topic of South by Southwest, I think that there are some big things that are going to happen obviously this year, and a lot of companies like Foursquare launched there, Gowalla launched there. I'm not sure what last year was. Maybe that was Gowalla. But this year, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to about group messaging, right? So
this seems to be the new thing.
I hear it everywhere. I see it everywhere, and it's Beluga was just purchased by Facebook this week. I don't know if it was Beluga was two people, and it's a technology and a person acquisition, but. This is
I think it was a whole three people actually.
Okay, so, 3 people, yeah. So
three ex-Google guys actually.
So the acquisition happens, right? It doesn't matter. Have you worked at Google? Yeah, I was a janitor. You're hired at Facebook. But the real every time I see you pick up that bottle, I see if I think it's like a it's a vodka bottle. It's so great. It's just water. Okay.
It's just water. It's called Johnny Iceberg Water.
Okay, it's not Johnny Walker in a bottle.
I gotta do the Vanna White thing. Johnny Iceberg Water.
That's ballsy, yeah, on a Sunday night to be drinking right from the bottle like that. It's a great shape. But so I think that's the trend that obviously that we're going to see, and there's a lot of companies, and I had a great chance to interview Caleb Elston, who is the co-founder of Yobongo, which launched this week as well, and it's a location-based group messaging platform that doesn't require you to log in. It basically wherever you are, and you launch their application, there are people in there ready to chat. So it's not like I have to invite you into a room. It's just you're in a room, and there are 10 people in there from somewhere around you, maybe in the city or the area that you're in.
It's interesting. I mean, so yes, so they basically use your location and automatically throw you into a group on the fly of people that are close by, and and if you feel like it, you can chat with them.
Yeah.
Novel concept. I don't know if people are going to use that or not. I mean, I'm not sure I would use that, but.
But in an event, it just seems like this is the perfect place to test these group messaging applications, doesn't it?
Well,
like South by.
Yes, it's definitely a good test ground. I'll give them that. I just personally can't see myself in that using that utility, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a throwback to the 90s and the open chat systems that were there, and I don't know. I have heard no fewer than 5 or 6 different companies in the mobile space that are using group messaging, and they're all kind of anticipating that South by Southwest is going to be their moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think group texting and group messaging is a function that makes sense.
Yeah,
virtual groups thrown together without you knowing anybody, and just hey, let's go have a chat. I don't know. I'm not sold on that one yet.
What I liked about it though was his philosophy is that breaking the ice in person is the hardest thing because of rejection, and it's kind of rejection is distant when it comes to digital rejection. It's like, oh, you don't want to talk to me, fine. It's not like you've been insulted face to face. It's so I don't know. One of the things that they've also their philosophy at Yobongo is very clearly that.
So are they trying to be a dating company, or are they trying to?
I don't know. I think that they, guys like Vaynerchuk and Robert Scoble and Om Malik, we're on the early trial of this thing, and they seem to feel very good about it. And they said that once they picked it up, they couldn't put it down because of the exposure that it received, and certainly the new people that they interacted with. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk gets onto IRC all the time and goes like he literally kicks it old school with IRC and says, "Hey, I'm on this. I'm on Tiny Chat. Let's go." So I think for a certain instance, an event like this, it might be worthwhile. There's a whole bunch of other ones that are going to be out there, a little bit more social apps.
Well, I'll give it a try. I'm not saying I won't try it. I just
Yeah, well, it's the thing. So we'll see.
I'm going to be that way. Maybe I won't be able to give it up.
That's right. It's going to be the next thing. It's the next crack on the phone. So, but group messaging is something that obviously is going to.
For sure.
This is the year of group messaging, especially at South by.
Yeah, and the Facebook acquisition of Beluga, I think, is interesting. Especially in light of there's also a lot of rumors floating around right now that Facebook is in talks to do some sort of a partnership, alliance, investment, something with Skype.
Yeah.
So Facebook is definitely very, very interested in kind of, further expanding out their mobile communications services portfolio.
Imagine if Skype sells again. Like that is just, that would be, they sold for $3 billion to eBay. Then they bought it back from eBay, the original owners, for $1 billion. And now they're driving they had 30 million concurrent users last week, which was a record for them. I mean, nothing has stopped them. I pay them quite a little bit of money every month, but they're driving revenue. And I can only imagine that if Facebook is interested in them, it's going to be in the billions again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and good on them. I'd love to be in that situation. So group messaging, we'll see how it plays out. Anybody who's out there listening or watching this who is at South by Southwest or is going to be using these tools or loves these tools, let us know. Let us know what your feedback is and if we should be using these and who should be using them and what you found useful.
Yeah, and if you're fortunate enough to get some of that 45,000 in Loopt rewards out of the reward wagon, let us know about that too.
Absolutely, please. So our last story really is about can I say that this is cool? Or are you going to shut me down if I say?
No, this is cool.
Okay,
and it's different. It's so different. It's cool.
This is it. So IBM actually doing something that is very cool. Working with Waterloo, which is Waterloo, Ontario, up here in Canada, which is the home of BlackBerry Maker Research in Motion. But so what is cool about this story, Asif? I'll let you get excited about it.
Yeah, let me get excited. So I think there's two things. One is we've talked until we're kind of blue in our faces about all the consumer check-in platforms, deals, recommendation engines, and so on and so forth. And we've also said in the same breath, where are all these big companies like IBM and Esri and so on and so forth? And here they come.
Yep.
So IBM has said, look, we're going to go after the municipalities, these cities, and we're going to provide B2B type of services around location analytics. And so what they've done is they've partnered with Esri on a couple of different things. They've got some product called Maximo Spatial. I don't know where the name comes from, but anyways, it's called Maximo Spatial.
Somebody in IBM marketing who's been around for a long time.
Yeah, and so they piloted this thing with the city of Waterloo up here in Canada, Wilmington, North Carolina. They've done some stuff. I know they've worked some stuff in Washington, D.C. with this as well. And so this is all about municipalities understanding, with a location perspective, GIS information and data, where the roads are, where the sewers are, where the pipes are, the waterways, the underground, the wires, the streetlights, all that kind of stuff. And giving the cities the ability to monitor this stuff based on location. So if you're on a work crew somewhere, you show up, and you don't have to have the big blueprints anymore, rolled out of the truck and all that kind of stuff. You just hold up your phone and you've got the latest location information that can drill down and show you where exactly that pipe is relative to where you're positioned, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's phenomenal. It just makes sense.
That is a long time coming, and something as low, not as low tech, but as I don't know, as I guess as low tech as plumbing and pipes can be. It deserves this. I don't know how many times you've seen how they dig up a street, they pave it, they dig it up, they pave it just to see what's down there. And I think that this is something that, as they're down there, throw in a monitor, throw in a little whatever it is, a receiver. And then map it, a little bit more than what they've got so far, which is paper maps and some good digital maps. But do it in real time, man. This is one of the coolest things. To be able to do this.
It's really neat. It's really, really neat. Anyhow, I mean, just good on them. We don't need to dwell on it too much. I just think it's about time that cities had this kind of power to know where their infrastructural assets are.
Absolutely, and next it'll be people. They'll be able to track you everywhere, and IBM will be the one in charge of that. So IBM working with the smart city of Waterloo to map their infrastructure. I think it's great. And at some point it'll be all those guys who are driving their trucks, pulling off and having a Tim Hortons cup of coffee. They'll be able to. They'll be monitored as well. So we'll be back in this conversation a year from now, talking about privacy issues around what
they'll pull off and they'll check in on Scavenger and then get their deals for the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Ottawa Senators or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Anyways.
Or whatever team Balsillie buys and brings down to Waterloo.
Right.
So this puts us right now onto our product of the week, which is you pick the most esoteric or isolated applications you can possibly find, just to stump me. And I'm not, although there's Dutch in me, I cannot speak any language or understand it. So let's talk about TipSpot from Amsterdam.
Yeah, so TipSpot is a company that's been around for a while. A product that's been around for a few years now from the research I've been able to dig up. They're based in Amsterdam. And effectively what it is, it's an app, iPhone app, that lets you find cool stuff that's going on and happening around you. So if there's there's local event going on, there's a a new restaurant opening, there's whatever it is, it's taking that kind of the local newspaper, the local magazine that says here's what's happening tonight, applying that into an app and using your location to not just your location plus your interests and those of your friends.
Yeah.
And then making recommendations on cool things that you should go check out.
Yeah.
So, concept makes perfect sense. Been around for a while. It's been happening for a while in Amsterdam. And the one thought that I mentioned to you before we got on this call tonight is, what a perfect marriage between them and somebody like Rumble over in the UK that's got, shifted from check-ins to recommendation engine. License your stuff over to TipSpot, guys, and get together, and the world could be yours.
Well, it's great to see that this is, we're not isolated. Certainly the rest of the world is trying to figure this space out as well as North America, and some are a little bit more advanced, obviously, than in North America. But if you can find them, I think they're at tipspot.nl. Is that their website? That's what I was able to find.
Yeah, and it's in English as well. So
it is. Okay. So go to the English one, or you can use Google Translate, and it'll tell you exactly what you need in broken English. So so that's TipSpot as our product of the week. Dun dun dun. And so let's talk about a resource. This is a unique resource. We're not running out of them, but certainly Pillsbury Law. It has nothing to do with the Doughboy.
No, and just wanted to be a little bit different this week. One of the things I hear a lot, when I'm speaking or at conferences, or for example the LBMA event this past week in Toronto. People do raise the issue of what about privacy, what about security? And when I say people, I don't just mean consumers. I mean the agencies, the brands, the people who are looking to use these platforms.
Yeah.
What are the things that, we should be concerned about is the question I get asked. And I think a good way to answer that question is to go to a law firm who specializes in privacy and security and location-based, information in that space. And so Pillsbury Law is a company that I've come across a few times now in this space. They're headquartered in San Francisco. They've got offices all over the globe, and obviously throughout North America as well. So it's just pillsburylaw.com. And they're social media, entertainment, tech, but especially privacy and security. And they're at every location-based conference now. Have a stand because they're there. They know this is a space that people are concerned about, and they're trying to be at the lead of it. So, good resources all over their site.
Are they? Tons of white papers. Really valuable stuff, and they're an international. I mean, they're from Abu Dhabi all the way through London, Los Angeles, New York.
Right.
I don't even know if they have an office up here in Canada, but they do have one in Northern Virginia. So, pillsburylaw.com is our resource of the week. 15. Slam dunk done. Got nothing left.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're good.
We are good. Anticipating some great things to come out of South by Southwest. Some real life user data from a lot of these things, these applications that are going to be launched. And not going to be there. I know that neither of us are going to be there, which is unfortunate. But, work calls, duty calls. But I look forward to anybody who's out there to giving us some feedback. And if you happen to have a moment, send us an email about what's going on down there, what you're seeing in the location-based marketing, things that you're really, really, really excited about, and we'll get it on here. And who knows? Send us a video. Send us a video.
Or even better, I'll throw out a challenge. If somebody wants to reach out to us, who's going to be down there and has got a free, 30 minutes, we'll do an interview live.
Yes, that's it.
We'll bring them in and guest on the show live from South by Southwest with Rob and myself, and let's make it happen.
Well, if anybody's out there is up for that challenge, it's a challenge, and go and do it because I think that this is something that we would love to have you on. And if you're a little shy about the video, don't be. It's really easy, no problems there. But we'll get you on the show. So send us a note. You can either send it obviously to through a CEF at the LBMA. You can do it through Untether. I have an email address which is untether@gmail.com. But there's many ways to reach us. Just do it. and let us know if you're up for live reporting from South by Southwest, which would be very cool.
There you go.
All right, Asif. Until
Thank you,
next
Rob.
Sunday.
All right.
Another great episode.
Over and out.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.